Hello everyone. Well, here we are at part number 15. And actually I've been sick for a week, so put me behind a little bit. I have started on the inside top. Got 2 layers down there. I still have to sand that little bit there and glass it. So I have some sanding and filling to do. You see the gaps in the foam. So it's probably about 3 feet. It has to be sanded and foamed, and then I'll glass that. This turned out good. Got all that laid down. Waiting for this to harden so I can go ahead and do that part. This takes a few days to harden, so you don't want to be messing with it while it's curing. So the floor here is done, or I should say the roof done. Got this glassed in. The last video I said I have my wood strips that I have to cut from my tension pieces. That is basically, I cut at the thickness of the foam. So this is 1 1/8. So probably that's about 28 millimeters by 28 millimeters. So these will get glassed in down here. Once I peel all that peel ply away, those will get glassed in. So I'll have to round over 2 of these edges just so it'll tuck in tight in that corner, and then on the front side where the glass will lay over nice and smooth. So this week, or I should say this weekend, the goal is to go ahead and get my door housing finished, get the glass on that, and then I have the front done. So this has 2 layers on it. This is done. So the only thing I have to do now is finish this part right here, and it will be pretty much closed up except for the floor, and I'm not going to do that. That'll be the last thing that I do. So one thing that I do have to do is on these corners, because this is the center of mass. So I have to cut this little triangle out, dig this out, and fill this with the expanding foam, the structural foam. I'll do one on the other side, and then I'll fill these gaps up with the structural foam, and then I'll glass over this. So I have to make this pretty substantial because this is the center part of the camper. So that's what I'll be doing today, is trying to knock this out. And then the next thing is getting that opening closed up. So I get a few questions on the fiberglass that I am using, and this is it right here. It's a 6-ounce or 200 GSM fiberglass cloth. It's a plain weave. General hand layup, it's whatever this weighs. The fiber that you're using, whatever it weighs. If you're doing it by hand with a brush, generally it's 50-50. So if you put down a pound of fiberglass, you're going to use a pound of resin, maybe a little less, but that's the general rule. So if you're careful, you can get a much higher fiber load. And what I mean by that is, if you put down a pound of fiberglass, you can put down, 3/4 of a pound of resin. That's generally where you want to be, but it's pretty hard when you're wetting this stuff out by hand. You're not really compressing it. But anybody that wants to do any kind of fiberglass and foam with epoxy resin, generally that's what you're going to do. So if you buy a roll of fiberglass cloth, this roll weighs 52 pounds, so you would have 52 pounds of resin is what you would end up using, maybe a little less, but for a general rule that's probably what you'll use. If you're really careful, use the peel ply, roll it out, minimize it. Yeah, you could use a lot less epoxy resin. Alright guys, well, there's a look on the inside. Basically from where that shadow is down to the peel ply is all I have left to do in here on that part. So those gaps to close up, and then I will probably flip this on its side, elevate it up to where I can stand inside of this window, and then glass the inside with a few layers, so the sides will be nice and strong. Alright guys, see you in the next one. Thought I'd just throw this in here. Got my wood pieces in. And I've got the front done. So I was trying to do this part up here, and I wanted to get 3 layers on this. But you can see in the video, when I cut my piece up here, I put it in the wrong direction, and the one thing bad about epoxy is it's really sticky. If it had been polyester, I could have just picked it up and spun it around, but I had to work on this to get it done, and I wasn't able to get 3 layers on it, but I can just peel ply off and put another layer on it. But that was fun. But it's coming on. I've got to do this next, so I'll be flipping this over again, and then I'll be putting in the rest of my wood. Alright guys.